Whew. Welcome. Turn that music on. There we go. Oh, whew. There we go. Okay. Looks like my closed caption is just as accurate as ever. Yeah. Let's see. Well, welcome, guys. Nice to see you. How you guys doing? Let's see. Oh, hi, Cookie. Oh, it's good to see everyone. Welcome, Alan. Bello cello to you. Oh, there you go. All good. I gotcha. Let us figure things out. Okay. Oof. Let's see. So last stream was the Rubber Duck Simulator. So I hope that was fun. That was just gonna be a one-off. So, we'll go back to Princess Peach tomorrow. For right now, we're gonna do a little bit of kind of spot around and kind of dodge, you know, a lot of elements in the Paper Derby movie I don't want to show, so I'll kind of dance around a lot of that, but should still have enough content. Try and do something. How have I been doing? Was gonna save this for toaster time, but I went to a chamber lunch, a conversation with Nintendo's Doug Bowser. So I got to see the CEO of Nintendo America branch on Thursday. So I got some good food and got to listen to Doug talk for an hour. So that was fun. But I think I'll save that. It's a bit of a story, or at least there's a lot to talk about it. So save that to the end. So, woo! Now you got something to look forward to. But anyway, that was super fun. I was very more impressed than I thought it would be, especially because everything makes it sound like it's a corporate, whole bunch of bar graphs and stuff. But no, it was fun. Yeah. Okay. I think we're practically ready to go. I think. And yeah, you guys can be my ears for me. Because I noticed that even if I mute the audio on my headset, it actually isn't how you hear it with the mix. So let me know if there's anything that goes wrong with stuff like that. But yeah, we'll jump right into it now. Boop boop we do. So I click this music. I don't know how loud it actually is. I'll eventually get a new playlist. I know I did that playlist for the Rubber Duck stream, but been busy doing other stuff like this, so haven't been able to also do everything else. But welcome, guys. Hello, hello. Let me get my arm. Did I get my arm? I got my arm. I got my arm. Welcome, welcome. Zai Cookie and Alan and Caesar. Welcome, welcome. Little wave. Thank you. So it's good to see everyone. Yeah, I've been doing okay. Work has been interesting, but not really enough to talk about it too much. So it's kind of same old, just kind of plugging away, I've had like in the last couple weeks, I've had like ones that needed like 100 or so little individual plates to get engraved. So that took forever. Now I kind of finished with that, so now it's like, oh, I guess I'll work on stuff that's due in 3 weeks ahead, I guess. So, yeah. Not much going on there. It's weird how summer, or at least like early summer, seems to be the kind of low point for sports. Turn up the music a little bit. But I guess that's when they play it, and they don't need a champion at that point to get a trophy yet. So, I don't know. I never followed and or know anything about sports, so that's why I'm the tech guy here, and I know how to, use a phone when my boss is like, hey, I need to take a video to do a tech support thing. And I was like, you got it. he was like, wow, how'd you learn how to edit things? How'd you edit the video after I did it? Whoa. And I say, like, I've been a video editor for like 10 years. I make videos all day. Anyway, like this one, let's talk about this. It says this is the unreleased, soon to be released, hopefully soon. We'll see about that. The next chapter in the Paper Derpy's first movie. Unfortunately, I've just been so busy with work and like just get so tired and have everything else going on that I wasn't able to really just sit down and really work on this for like over a year. I wasn't able to work on this for like a year, so I'm now trying to get my act together and actually trying to get this going again, restarting the progress on this. So, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna wake her up and we're just gonna go from here. Yeah. So let's see. There isn't much I can show. There's a lot of things I don't want to show, so I'm just gonna have to use my bubble blur to kind of hide things. As I say that, I should look at my mouse. Maybe I will get 2D bubble blur. Let's see if I find it. My OBS. There we go. So don't worry if this happens. That just means I'm gonna be file exploring or showing things that I don't want you to see. So that's a little sensor bar thing going on there. But hopefully I'll be able to show. I know what I want to show now, so I think we'll be okay. But yeah. Welcome, my swimmer. If I can grab my arm, there we go. Welcome. How are you? Oh, it's a Derpy. Thank you. Got a little double Derpy action there. So this is going to be the first shot of the new chapter 7. So the way that I set this up is that I have so this is Adobe Flash. So I started making this in 2017, the first chapter. Like even just like storyboarding and like scripting it out. That's what I was using the whole time. Was like that's all I had really was what was available to me was Adobe Flash. So that's this whole software for the animation. But since then, you know that I've used Toon Boom. Like last Saturday I used, one of the Saturdays to do the Mother's Day video. So that was a Toon Boom. So this is a completely different software. This version might be a little bit older. Actually, Toon Boom hasn't had an update since 2022. So might actually be getting closer to being old. Not completely outdated, but it's just like, you know, getting all the fun stuff. So I can kind of show that this is what the storyboard for the first shot is. Kind of show like the breakdown, you know, of how I usually would work on something like this. So I use stick figures to get everything going. So I think I drew this, well, obviously a couple years ago, but I think even my original storyboards might be in here. Let's see what this is about. I think it's about the same. Oh yeah. Little stick horse. Actually, I think it changes right here. Yeah. She gets her bag out, which happens later. I think I just reused this drawing, but then you can see like that I don't have the GL bars for her here. For that, and a little bit more details and stuff. So the way this works is that this whole layer is actually a symbol. And if I double click, I'm now inside of that symbol that now has its own internal timeline. So it's gonna look a little confusing, but you don't have to worry about it. But it's just like there's fourth dimensional stuff where there's layers inside of layers. So I can just click on the isolate the Derpy symbol graphic and then double click on that. You can kind of see like the breakdown of which nesting I'm getting into. It's like getting into just smaller and smaller components. So I was in the entire scene. Now I'm inside of chapter 7 shot 1, and now I'm inside of Derpy, and so now I can see her animation. And so this is the components to be able to break her down into different. It's pretty easy to see like how each of these symbols are together. So it's all tweened and like all puppets and stuff, and they're all different components. So everything that's a different color is a different symbol. So I wanted just a head. I'll be able to move that. It's a little complicated, but it's like there's wings and arms. Arms are separate. So that allows me to like animate it, so I can kind of move things around and then go woo. And so put the color back on and kind of wake her up. And so I can just go inside of just her head. So I'm inside of head inside of that one shot. So now the only thing I can interact with, I can't interact with the storyboard or even her body at this point. And so now I get all the components of just her head, which is now all of this. So this is where it gets like, oh, okay, sure. And these are all of her head parts. Like every single layout of every part of like her eyes and her head. And I'm able to animate her hair inside of here, and then her eyes, which should be this part. If I go to my frame picker, be able to see like the breakdown of every single frame inside of this sequence. Let's see. So I can go inside of her eye, and now the only thing I can interact with now is just her eye, that's highlighted here. I have this sequence of just the eye blink. So if I had to make this, but like obviously you can tell like once I make it, then I don't have to make a blink every single time. Or like if I had to do this like hand drawn, then I would have to draw this who knows how many times. But with this simple stuff, I'm able to draw it once, and then I'm able to reuse it at any point if I want it to be the same looking symbol. Like even just here, like I have it open and then I'm reusing the same blinks again and the same pictures again, same graphics. And then here we change an expression by having these visible eyelids or eyebrows. And so I'm having different, this is my stock of like which eyebrow I want to use inside there, so I can swap it at any point and change it. And then change the position to animate it. So becomes a little, you know, we really have to know like how the character and all the setup is to be able to animate it. Like I want her to open her mouth or whatever, I'll be able to just click on that and it swaps it. So stuff like that is like, okay, once you set it up and you know what you're doing, then it's really simple to just like animate it afterward. So that's just the head. And every other piece of her also does the same thing. I made this, I thought it was being smart, and you know, have different stock arm angles and different ones that were unique, but I wanted to keep it just in case. There might be some that have the, no. There's ones that I had the cat's t-shirt on. This had to like separate because in 3D I needed the hoof to be separate. But just from here, I'm able to kind of have all of my arm angles. And then whenever I need her arm to kind of be at a certain angle, I could just kind of go straight. Or if I wanted to be the other angle, kind of go up. Or if I wanted that weird arm, I could do that. And select it there. So Toon Boom works the same way in that sense that you have the drawing substitute. Where you basically draw something, and then no matter if you set it to a graphic or not, it'll just be part of this list of all the graphics inside it. And then you can do the same thing with puppets. That's how I'm able to kind of transition my workflow with from Flash to Toon Boom 2, is that I'm able to use the same sort of ideas across. Be able to be like, oh, I want to, you know, obviously wouldn't change it like here, but you could. At least that's the theory of the how the puppets work. Ooh. I think I don't want to move on too much because I think I don't want to bring out too much story stuff in this, or at least want to spoil too much for you. So I want you guys to watch it, so I don't want you to be like, oh, I want you to be excited about this. I got my widescreen bars to kind of show me what the final resolution will be. So I'll go to my sketches. Here's a breakdown of just a what I wanted the background to look like. So I drew this. Obviously very simple and like very sketchy. It's kind of like concept art, really, like where it's just kind of like I don't need. I never really liked concept art where it's like too exact or like too photorealistic. You see, there's a bunch with like some like a cartoon, but like they would have a way too good of an artist doing like a sketch, and it would just be a photorealistic animal, and it's like, but then in the cartoon it looks like My Little Pony, and it's like, why? Why'd you do it like that? We're just going overboard with the concept art and not really understanding what the, you know, this is supposed to get like colors and shapes and like what, you know, I can show this to someone and maybe you'll be able to recreate this, you know, in a sense. So, hola, Mr. Pony. But, yeah, I just never quite get that when I can kind of just quickly add some layers and try and draw some stuff out. What room is this? This will be a new room in a new chapter. This will be like a snake dungeon jail cell, basically. I don't know what those other lines, why it turned green. I don't even know why. But yeah, so I went from the storyboard to sketching of a background, and then you saw the animation of the character. So now I want to move on to showing the next result in that to kind of follow along with that. Will hopefully be this. I turned it to wireframe just so it'd be a little more GPU easy. Cupcake, thank you. So this is next step. Obviously this is a lot more work to set this up, but now we're inside of Blender, which is a 3D program, so now I'm able to kind of show off the entire set of this. There's a little Z fighting, but which is just like the planes are too close to each other with this transparency, so yeah. But to kind of break this down is that I have a whole bunch of objects going on in here, and there's a lot of effects and a lot of different pieces. Didn't quite have to exactly model everything out. You could have little 2D stuff. Like even this broom, if I can go back to Flash, I can show what this originally looked like. Let's see. Cookie, if you want to help me translate that, I'm going to go back to Flash. I'm going to go back to 3D textures. Let's see here. My timeline fell out. Gotta lock it. Gotta lock the timeline. Why is that just normal thing? I don't know. This is my original drawing of the broom. So everything had to be designed and everything had to be modeled or, you know, 2D. Yeah, this is so cute. Well, I hope that's right. Thank you, Pony. I appreciate that. Let's see. Here's the original drawing of the broom. And here's a couple angles. I was trying to figure out whether or not I wanted it to be 2D or not. So I was like trying to like lean it against like one of the other blocks. Like I have this barrel. I was like, well, do I want to lean it against a barrel? So I kept trying to figure out like what kind of form I wanted it. So, like, should it be like kind of leaning this way and then like the block would be here or something? Maybe like just kind of more forward. Now to put it into the 3D, and I actually put like a 2D image of the picture of the broom there and just kind of leave it in there. I was like, that kind of looks kind of dumb. I was like, that doesn't look that great. So I went ahead and 3D modeled the whole broom. That's not going to be seen for too much, but at least now you can kind of appreciate this weird looking broom I made. Yeah, so neat, huh? Little secret broom going on in here. I think in the next shot you'll see it maybe, but I don't want to show that yet. Let's see. Welcome, Double. How you doing? There's so much going on. I think I reused some of these blocks from hopefully the last chapter. Maybe these barrels from last chapter. I think I reused this because we're inside of the same castle dungeon, the snake castle dungeon from chapter 6. So luckily with that, I was able to reuse a bunch of the assets and even reuse the assets for another candle holder. So that's nice. Speaking of which, there's animation going on inside of here. So I got a little light glow. That's the 2D plane, and then some geometry nodes, which don't even get me started with geometry nodes because that's its own kind of beast that Blender has. I wonder if I can even show that. Let's see. Yeah, this might be familiar if you know Tumu. They should look readily available. What's going on is that the little geometry. I'm not even gonna start to explain it. I don't even understand it. But basically, there's a whole bunch of like elements here that change and affect the stuff that's going on to make it kind of small and then have it animate. So I don't understand geometry nodes myself, even though I understand nodes, but like you kind of have to know like your toolbox and like know that, ooh, I have a screwdriver and I know what screwdriver does and what I can do to a screwdriver. But once you just have like a new toolbox of like alien tools, it's like, whoa, you know, like I can understand you set a position in the geometry and you put it into incidents on points and then you connect the geometry into points. You know, how would you know to connect it like that? It's basically coding. Yeah, all this kind of stuff is coding it. So if you like that kind of math stuff, there's a lot of numbers going on, a lot of values. But yeah, I think I just looked up a tutorial and had him do something like this. I was like, oh, okay, and then I just follow along. So I don't know. Here's old inactive on this movie. I think, well, I guess I can check, but I think the last chapter, chapter 6, was 2022. I hope at some point, because I feel like I took 23 off, and now I'm gonna work on it. So hopefully, it shouldn't be that long. But yeah, there's a lot of different elements here. A lot of like cheats of like I wanted to still feel like it's a 2D cartoon, just in a 3D environment. So I didn't want to make like every single thing 3D, but I am starting to lean more towards things that I would have done 2D into 3D. But just stuff like this, where it's like I took the 2D picture of the spider web. So I took this image, exported it as a picture, just a regular flat PNG picture, brought that into here, and then spread that onto a polygon, and then you can see that I have little vector points here, polygon points, and so I can kind of play with this mesh here, and then change the bips there. Hello. Welcome, Jed. I'm trying to find my spider web here. Yeah, so it has the picture of the spider web and the gel, and then it has that as a base color. This is shading nodes, which I understand these nodes a little better, ironically. It's okay. I understand these ones a little better. Because they're more art related. I'm just like, I just need a color or something sometimes, but most of the time it is just kind of this basic, where obviously I do this 100 times, I kind of understand what's going on here. Take the image, take the source image of the spiderweb picture, put it into a principal BSDF, and it just changes so it doesn't have, basically set it to 0, because I don't want it to have that much reflectivity or metallic sheen or something. You can go all you want, have fun with all that sort of stuff there, and then just output it. But I think I needed to also set it to alpha clip, which is in this other box over here for no reason. If I set it to opaque and then turn it off, the PNG, anything that was transparent in PNG turns to black instead. So we're back to place cooling, where it'll actually render it backwards. So that's fun. Sometimes that comes in handy. And then there's different types of PNG transparency. Hashed, blend might do something different, but clip kind of gets it to be just a transparent, I think. Let's see. Derpy gets it spoiled, man. Oh boy. We'll see about that. But yeah. This is actually a leftover from the original storyboards. Guess I could show that maybe. If I navigate all the way through here. I think she gets a bag and she's like, oh, I'm gonna eat the muffin. And then a rat comes and gets it. This is the old version, so this is completely different. So I'm fine with showing this. Yeah, she just kind of walks through. Wanted to show that the rat and the spider, they become friends, and then they go out and try to escape. So, original story was that the spider and rat were gonna be Derpy's companion, and like they were gonna try and escape throughout the castle. Oh, yeah, Brazil, cool. Hope you have a pretty good weather there. Up in way up north, it's pretty spotted showers a lot. So it was actually a pretty good day on Thursday when I went to see Doug Bowser. He had a little presentation there. People want to call it like a speech, but it really wasn't. I'll talk about this later. But anyway, I added the spider webs just because there was a spider in the original version, but I kind of killed these characters off in the new version. These guys don't appear in my latest version of the script, so I'm sorry, but yeah, these are deleted characters that, yeah. So, whoops. Yeah. But I got the spiderweb just to be in its memory. To say like, yeah. I was kind of fills out the space anyway, so I kind of put it in both corners. So you should be able to see it. Right there. There I am, Gary. Right here. Kind of a thing. There's so much detail in this. I think this only shows up for like 10 seconds or so in the final animation, but I think this was more like a proving ground to like, you know, test and put almost like every single new idea that I had for this chapter. I put into here. I think there's even like some animations I might have done, or this version doesn't have it, but yeah, each of these little bars are separate. I think this padlock might have, let's see, shape keys. Ah, okay. Next for the emojis. Rest in peace. Yeah. I think I needed shape keys for when it was actually animated, but I think in this one, this shot doesn't show the lock, so like even this is super complex and like overdone, but but it's fun. I think I spent like a couple months trying to figure out what kind of wall texture I wanted. Like I just wasn't like happy with the wall texture, and I think that's why I was like hesitant to actually keep working on it, just because I kept hitting a wall where I couldn't figure out how to get the wall texture to work. So I was just like, man, I'm just so mad at this wall. It's like, I don't know how to make it look good. Kind of settled between it being somewhat realistic and still going with the cartoony of just having like individual bricks sticking out, which are individual 3D models as well. That were hand placed. And then the same kind of fire texture there. This little seat. Little jail seat is its own 3D model as well that has its own wood type of grain texture. These chains are fun. Hello. Oh, because the anchor point's down there. So these are little rings. What if I did an array modifier on it? I did not. Cool. Did I just make it and then just rotated it? I might have. What I should have done was just kind of make two of these and then give it a ray modifier. I wonder if this will work now. Generate away. And you can set this to be 0 there. Let's see if Y. Hopefully Z. Can I give it a good, okay, 45 value there. And if I want a super long chain, I can just kind of keep going from there. But you can imagine with just having the 2 of them, I'd just be able to keep going into space with that. So what if I did it and then like accepted it? Because you can do that too. And like say, apply. There's a little tiny apply button. And then I could have just said that. So maybe I did that. I don't think I would have. You know, there's a lot of things where it's like, oh, I don't know how to do it, so I'll just do it manually or do it the long way. Obviously, that's the way that it'll work, but it's like, oh. Either spend like 20 minutes trying to find a video or something, some sort of tutorial to figure out how to do it. Or you just do it in a long way. That seems like the long way, but it's like, whatever. It'll get it done no matter what. Fun part is that, check this out. This is not a real shadow. That just blow your mind. This is actually a texture that's just a little block. It's just a transparent little cube that has a shadow texture on it. It has a shadow square. We'll find it in here. Shadow bed, turn it off. Yeah. So instead of having the way that I have the lighting going on that now, is that there is no lighting. This is sort of what it would almost look like if there was lights. Be kind of dark. So I'm actually using an HDR, HDI? I don't know. Some sort of fancy world thing. Let's go to, how do I go to world? This has its own nodes. So if I change any of these values, then things will mess up because these are set up to be exact. Let's see. No, what's the temple? Temple sounds rhythm. Are we animating in Toon Boom and in Blender? I'm animating this in actually Flash. But yeah, animate the characters and all the elements that would be 2D inside of here. Hey guys. And then welcome Slipper. So I'm able to bring in, you can think of it like a texture where I can like export PNG sequence. So export PNG sequence essentially takes every single picture inside of the symbol and then puts it into individual files. So they're transparent or have an alpha channel pictures. And so you can imagine them just being stacked up on top of each other. I go to where Derpy is and here. She has the object. Oh, well, there's a lot going on. A little more than usual, but it's because I actually added a little bit of shine on her. You can see this little light here, I think. I actually added an offset, which isn't usually what you would do. Basically, it has the PNG sequence inside of here, and so it goes for every single frame. And so it's inside of a 2D flat box, plane, but with UV editing and texture, you can say which, hopefully Derpy, nope, Derpy doesn't exist. Oh, it's DP light. She would appear here sometimes, and then it'll be every frame is then applied in sequence as an animated sequence onto the 2D plane. It's inside of here. And you can see with the spider web that I can also apply it to 3D objects or, you know, anything else I basically want it to be. So it's kind of like skinning the pictures that I wanted and exported from Flash or whatever directly onto an object here. Wish I could show one of these is actually working. That'd be cool. Then you can see the relation of these. Let's see if one of these. So which one is this one using? Using my mouse. Give my hand again. Show wall 2. Show wall 2. So this is a picture that I... Now we're getting into textures. Sorry, I skipped on the lighting. So I made this as a picture inside of Flash, exported it, put it into Blender as an image, and now you can kind of see that the way that I set it up is that I have this kind of gradient from light to dark with the textures, and then I just assigned each polygon a specific color. So if I wanted to, I could turn this off. I could then take this, and you can see how it's mapping directly onto the geometry. So I wanted it to be this color or, you know, anything else. There's a little transparency in the middle there. But, so I was able to directly map the 2D picture image onto the 3D geometry. And that's called UV space. So, UV editing and texture work. So that's how any video game, any 3D software usually would work. Is that you have a artist, like in Photoshop, making a picture that's a little more complex. You've probably seen like the texture sheets, where it's just like a whole mess of pictures and shapes, and it's like, ah, that doesn't make any sense, but makes sense to having the relationship between the... You have to have a good relationship between the 2D and 3D artists, because usually they'd be different people. So this one is using Geo Window. I mean this one. So you can see, like, I made a design in 2D Flash, exported that to picture, and then assigned the space. You can see, like, I can, you know, change the properties of all of this. Like, all of this is kind of anything I can do with regular shapes. I can rotate and scale and move everything. And then that sets the... So it takes a while because I have to individually, you know, do every single polygon from all angles, you know. So remember the city in chapter 3 taking forever because I had to do every single building. There's a whole bunch of custom buildings or a lot of original buildings, and I had to like do every single polygon on every single building. So it's not like that took forever. She'll break out. She'll be fine. She's just, you know, spending the time for a war crime she did. She'll be fine. Let's get to talk about the lighting. Let's go back to that. Wrap around back to that. Let's see. Is that sort of what it's supposed to look like? If I go back to world, go back to here. That's the camera. Yep. I think. Oh, that's the fade black. I made it into a polygon. Take that out. Welcome, Shockwave. Welcome, Ben. Thank you. Let's see the burgers being made. I am trying. 6 battery. I'll go charge it, but I think you'll have enough for maybe another half hour or so, I think. Good luck with that. So I can change the isometric to perspective mode. Shading. So there's a whole bunch of other nodes, and you know, as I said, like you gotta have the knowledge of your toolbox to be able to understand this. It's not like if I understand nodes, that means I can understand geometry nodes and then also understand shading and then also understand this HDR stuff, because they all use completely different ones here. Like the ones this says input and output, but regular shading actually it does. What the? Well, I guess it has more stuff for color. Anyway, the geometry nodes shouldn't have that. Alright. Oh, okay. Well, this one's got different stuff too. Anyway, I got different toolboxes for specific stuff. You can say the geometry nodes has different stuff, but I think shading and the world ones probably share, because that makes actually sense that they have the same stuff for that. So let's go back to shading then. Let's go to world. Welcome, Connor. This is Blender. I'm kind of going back and forth between the 2D and 3D stuff. The 2D's in Flash. So we're mapping a picture. I made a custom, literally just a white picture. If I change it to be anything else, I think it'll probably change something, probably? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe not. Let's change that a little, I think. Interesting. It doesn't... I don't know. All this equal rectangular stuff, who knows? I don't know. Again, I saw a video and I was like, just make this. I was like, sure, okay. Because I wanted to remove the shadows. Or at least remove any type of lighting. Because I think if I take, you know, any of these out, then it might... That probably broke something. Take some of these out. I don't see an immediate change. Even stuff like this seems to be about the same too. I'm changing between material view and render view. I'm using Eevee. That's a rendering engine. I could use cycles, but that might actually break my computer, so I might get to change that. I'm already using so much GPU already for everything else. I ain't changing the... Oh yeah, you saw a little change. It's very slight. You see that the wall kind of changed the color? Yeah, it gets a little brighter. But the main thing was to remove any highlights and shadows off of every object. Basically turn it into studio mode, they might call it, or matte mode or something. So nothing is getting hit with any type of lighting. I don't think I even have any lighting. Yeah, I would have put it in camera or something. So I can fight. And that's all my lights of... These are just objects. I can tell from that little object. Little thing there. So I'm gonna filter by... Yeah. I think I can't add in... I could add in objects if I wanted to, but... or a light. Light. Point. Ready to go. I think there's a way to center it or something. It's been a bit. Hang on. Where to go? Let's put it here. And put it here. So it should be right where Derpy is, but I think it needs to be a little brighter. There you go. There's a lot of watts going on here. So this is what I didn't want to happen, where if I wanted to actually add in a light or something, you'd be able to see like there's a real shadow actually happening. So real-time lighting. I didn't want to make it like this because obviously things start to get like this kind of fall off where it has this too much specular or something, diffusion. Obviously you can't really have much diffusion without that. I can turn off the shadows. So how do I have just shadows with no light? And it's like, I'm not sure. I don't want to like actually set up real lights because I want it to be more cartoony and be able to exactly figure out what I wanted. So there's a lot of workarounds where I had to like make my own custom shadows. Baked in shadows, I guess. But I didn't want to actually add in lights, so I needed a different way to light everything evenly without having any sort of highlights or shadows or nothing. So I did that world trick with the shading stuff. So all these shadows I put in are manually made, and I think there's just polygons. So, but everything has a little shadow. Try to think of it like if how would I do this in 2D, and I'd be like, oh, I'll just add a little a shadow circle. You're like, oh, okay. So you just added that. Did these have... I want something with a shape key. Shape keys are fun. I think you can open a door. Yeah. We've got it for this. I think I'll bubble blur to go to a different shot here. Let's not save in case I did something. I can go to, is that interesting? Do you want to see like a hallway that was part of that jail? Because you haven't seen it yet. Might as well show it off for a bit. This has the same, this is like my base one that I would save over everything. So Derpy's not here, there's no animation, and I'm slowly loading in the textures for this other section here. Thank you, Pony. These don't have textures, so we're not gonna turn, not to, I didn't put textures on these guys yet, but this is what a hallway would look like. Can't keep zooming in, so I'll have to click on something close. So these are modeled out and everything. And I think these might have, do these have wind? Whoa. Oh yeah. I do have wind. Let's turn that on. Let's see if this breaks my computer. Oh yeah, don't need volumetric cube. So where is the wind? There it is. So this has a physics operator going on here. Some field constraints and a whole bunch of physics and math going on here in the direction. I think the cool thing is that I have collision and cloth physics, so I split it up into a whole bunch of different polygons here. Obviously I didn't need it, but if I play it, you can see it it ruffles a little bit. It's a little easier to see here. So, just a little ambient little animation, you know, I figured out, and it's like, well, would it be cool if it kind of fluttered? Completely unnecessary, it took forever to figure out. It's like, that'd be cool though, huh? Love your animation, thank you. Guys are upset. Have to drawing with me. So, that's Devad. Okay. You got you said that you do traditional drawings? That's a cool. Obviously, that's completely different from what I'm trying to do here. I think these all kind of ruffle, but I think they get a little bit less because of physics or whatever. But yeah, modeling all these little arches was fun. They kind of overlap a little bit, but obviously you won't be able to see it, so. Cool little columns. Yeah. Overused the the flag a lot, but it's gotta get that technology in, huh? Don't need my meter cube just to figure out what a meter looks like. And I think this is gonna be an Easter egg, that this is one of my, or at least it looks like a Bob Ross kind of painting. I don't think it's the one that we did on stream, or else it would have looked a little bit more better. Put it on there, just in case. You can see that these, wow, these walls have their own kind of dirty texture, but it's like it's supposed to look a little different kind of wall. Bricks. I think this has a couple different, gonna stop the animation there. Broom. Whoa. That's a view. Let's see. I might have something on. Let's see. Face orientation. Here we go. I haven't seen this file in years, and I'm like, I think that's gonna work. I have that going on. Shading for a wall. It's the same thing, but I think it just has a little bit more going on. I have the same type of hallway. 2D image. If I can show the UV editor for this wall. Wall. Yeah, so I made this picture. Made this in Flash. Drew this out. Designed it. Whoopsie. What happened there? I'll take a picture of it. Okay. So that's what this input is. Get into a BSDF. I got something. Ow. Okay. Ah, nope. It's might have like eyelash or something. Hang on. It's got some texture coordinates mapping, a noise texture, and then a color ramp. So if I take this off or something, and now reload it. So this is what the original wall would have looked like. But then I added in this color ramp to change the color of it. You can see how it's more purple. And then the size of that noise texture. You can see I can kind of wibble this around. You see this cool effect. I've used this effect a lot, and you can see that it's kind of cool for just animating like kind of waves or something kind of cool over it. But you can kind of use it for a texture too, and just kind of add a little bit of kind of feel to it. So this is what the original looked like, and this is what the only noise in purple would look like. So I kind of put it in the middle, and I get something close to that. Get that back there. Go on. There you go. 0.4. Okay. But I've done that kind of trick where I'd use a normal picture, add a Blender specific shader filter kind of effect, and then got something cool. I think even this also has something cool. Get rid of this. This is also a noise texture that's just scaled in one direction. And a little bit of transparent. So I wanted the floor to be somewhat transparent. I think I have another file that has that, so I think I'm gonna show that now. Boop. Okay, let's go to the other file. Don't save. You have a dog named Muffins? Awesome. What kind of dog? I'm only picturing like bluey dogs. I can't even think of like what a real dog even looks like. If I don't see it immediately, let's try this. I'm just gonna load the texture so you don't have to watch that then. Just gonna hide some characters out of here real quick. Hang on. Characters. I have a folder for that, so that'll work. Okay. Don't want you seeing that quite yet. I'm not quite ready to show that off yet. But here's what I was talking about, where I did a trick like in video games where for transparent floors or kind of shiny floors, you want a shiny floor. How do you get a polished looking shiny floor where you can kind of see through it or something? It's like, oh, that's a shiny floor. Oh man, look at that. I can see the other, you know, look how shiny it is. It's got you can see itself. It's a mirror finish. Wow, how'd you do that? Ooh, wow. So, yeah, you already saw that, but it actually has a mirror image underneath of the entire, every single geometry is on the other side upside down. And then you just have a transparent floor, and then you can see underneath into it. So, testing around, seeing if I want, you know, something like that, but I don't know. It might work good for story-wise when it's the Nice Castle, and then when it gets to a not as nice castle, then maybe I can like remove this effect. But it's kind of cool because you get to get a really nice double image of everything kind of doubled up. Like some Z fighting or something. culling might be happening, but at least it looks kind of cool. Yeah, I did so much work on trying to figure things out that I never actually worked on this animation. Worked too much on the 3D stuff rather than actually animating, so whoops. I animated this door opening, boff, and then the characters happen. So, I think I even added like a little camera shake. What did I do? Is there any... Are there keyframes? Yeah, there's little keyframes with the camera shake in there. And this has some keyframes. This is some Blender animation. So it's fun to try and do in harmony between the 2D and 3D stuff, with the characters being 2D, animated and Flash, you know, fully, as you saw, like they're animated inside of here, and then exporting that as a PNG, so it can apply that onto a 3D mesh, and then trying to move those in 3D space, and while also having 3D objects that can also kind of move and then rotate like that. Do you have... Oh, you do. Okay, you have some shape keys. Okay, I can maybe show that off. Oh, if I go to a later shot, I'll have some more. But anyway, what's a shape key? Shape key is, inside of Blender, you can set up, because everything's made out of different polygons. Don't need to show that. Huh? Want to turn off normals. Didn't see it. Let's see. Do you see normals? Face orientation. Yep, that's that. Exterior bones. Rotation, relation lines. Anyway. These just show like where the normals are facing inward or outward. But everything's made out of points. So I could take this point of this polygon, move that around, or get a couple, move these around. So I 3D modeled this door. Get a couple of these polygons and move that around. But you can set those into like keyframes and say I want this object to be a certain keyframe, and then I can set a different set of keyframes of the. I can keyframe a different set of points for the polygon, and so I set up a different version of the polygons to kind of stretch it out a certain way. This one's not too much drastic, but some of them get a little fun, where kind of have a whole bunch of different stuff going on. So this is a separate polygon and vector point arrangement, and then I can then animate it. You can see like here where it kind of stretches out and then goes back to normal for the smear. So it doesn't always have to be that wide, but during certain frames it'll be wide and then go back to normal. So that's what that was. And it looks like the handle is its own object maybe here. Let's see. Or do I can't see the selection on it? Show gizmos. Show my gizmos. This doesn't have any shape keys, but it has its own set of keyframes as well. Looks like it just has a whole bunch of it being rotated into Y. See? X. Let's see. Y Euler rotation. So I can go to the frame that I'm on and say that's the point there at a certain value of like 5 or something. If I want it to be more or less, I can kind of rotate it up and down with these kind of points. It's a little bit easier, obviously, in the graph editor to kind of do stuff like that. Also, I got that going on. That it didn't have. That's a fall off. Huh. Oh, there it is. Turn that off. But yeah, you saw that I'm able to change and animate within the graph editor. So there's a graph editor, and then there's the just keyframes over here. I set this up to be a specific workspace, so everything here is how I like it for work buttons and tools. But yeah, there's so many like stuff I did that's like, oh, you're probably not gonna notice that the handle wiggles, but if it didn't, you'd be like, well, that handle will wiggle. So, yeah. Let's go to a different file. Yeah, let's show the outside. Let's not save. Show this one, or we could do, yeah, let's do this. I'm thinking about it. Okay, so that'll lead me once I get into the other one. Okay, we're gonna load the textures in. It takes a bit because it has to do the processing of not only finding the images, but also doing the, there's a lot more special stuff. The same thing how I did that wall that one time, where it has the kind of multiple things going on. Looks like that's just the, oh, I'm selecting the ball. Is this the floor? Ground dark, yeah. So there's other stuff going on inside of here. So I got the wave texture, a color ramp to be a color, another picture, a normal map, and then BSDF just to get it all settled, and then output it. So color ramp, I think the wave texture is probably what's going on. If I change that value, let's see if that changes it. Not quite. Might not be how that works. Might not be on the right one, maybe. That was ground dark. Oh, you're probably going to see that one then. Let's see if this works. There's ground path, ground dark. There's this wave texture. Let's see if this works. Hey, there we go. So, it's not an exact texture like a normal 2D picture. It's more of a organic kind of Blender made kind of thing. It's hard to show off unless I like make it my own or really show it off or something. So, but anyway, animation wise, we got the, remember this guy? He was cool, right? I love the other guy there. You see the castle in the back. That's where we were earlier. Unfortunately, I just made too much, and then there's this entire city over here that I didn't even really show off in the final video. So, in chapter 6, ball, there's all these little houses I set up and made and like really play with the props and everything. You never really get a look at it. You get the one on the other side. You get to look at this one a couple times. This is the one that'll has the guy with the door that falls over. It's one of these houses. But other than that, you don't get to see the other one that I also designed over here too much there. So, yeah. This guy's fun now. I also can show the interaction of how it's supposed to look in 2D, and then an alternate 3D view. Let's go to lower view on that. So, little ball goes back, and then he gets like toilet flushed. Where his money is gone. He's got a different hat. Goes from like a nice top hat to another kind of lower hat. But yeah, the way that I don't really show the inside of the well, so obviously the water doesn't have to animate too, but you got different planes in the character, and then the 3D little wishing water bucket has its own object. And then these are animated the same way like in Flash, where it just kind of take different, animate it, and then put it onto the mesh polygon, and then have it as a PNG sequence, so it'll play each frame of the animation one by one in sequence. Yeah. But yeah, I just spent way too much time. There's so much going on. I go to the castle. Let's fly to the castle and get rid of the ball. Yeah, there's too much that I made. I over-engineered everything just because I was like, well, it'll be shown at some point, like some shots gonna show it, right? I did this too much with even the city as well. Not too much the boat. I think I showed everything on the boat, on the steamboat, but there wasn't really that much anyway. But yeah, definitely with the city, there's like whole buildings and stuff that's not even shown too easily. So, model too much, so whoops. But yeah, even like might be able to re-see these boxes that was in the first jail that I showed you. And like this chest, I don't know what kind of lore is going on here. Here's got another bucket. I want to reuse stuff as much as I could. My idea was that the snakes designed, you know, their castle, so maybe they can, you know, use a ladder to maybe to get up there, rather than just like regular stairs. The snakes wouldn't make stairs, so there's a whole bit of that in the story too. So I try to think like, well, you get like regular engineering stuff of like how a human would make things, but then you get like, well, a snake would have made this, so I had to think about like stuff like that and be like, okay, maybe they build it on a slopey, you know, they could just slither up there, you know. They don't have legs. Lizards are great. Just wanted to make things a little bit more approachable for them, you know. Maybe they could like put their bottom of their leg kind of stick in each part and then kind of climb up. A little easier than stairs, I guess, but yeah. Not too much since the last time. Not much else to talk about with that. This also has a physics also going on. Probably should delete these for the render to be easier to so if the when I final render this out, probably don't want to have this also blowing, especially if I can't see it. This is what the camera would look like, just this view. So you don't even see even a castle either. So yeah. Let's move along to another shot real quick. Cause I kind of alluded to it, so might as well show it. This is the one with the door. You can see like my kind of stand-in horse. Yo Hishmalo, welcome. So I haven't done this character yet, but just needed to be in there for now. And I think let's just watch it. Let's be on the left side. Will be the final. So things aren't going too well. The magic's retreating, and then all the things that were nice are now being destroyed. So I actually made 2 different versions of Lily everything. I'm just that yeah. So I made a destroyed house. I made a complete house first, and then I made this complete house with everything being nice, literally everything looking all nice and trim and everything. And then after I made all this, I was like, okay, finally, now I can destroy it. And then replace it with the destroyed house, destroyed buildings and stuff. Like, oh, this fell over, you know, there's a little more lore going on here. And there's just, yeah, having this fall over in the mud instead of being all nice and tidy. It's not even there. what I plan on doing is that I'll be able to render out the animation in certain steps, because I can't like change. Well, I guess I could animate it, but I think it'd be somewhat. I'll have to figure this out. But I have two versions, so I can have it so it'll be nice and clean, and then the ball at a certain frame will kind of go through. So it's kind of going through them. Let's see there, so like in one frame. So I want to change that as well. This one's not quite complete yet, as a animation yet. So I might want to have it like one frame where it's kind of more closer here on the edge of it, and then another frame on the other end. And then during render that as an animation, and then excuse me, and then do another pass where I do another animation of it being destroyed, and then on that one frame, and then switch between the different versions of that same shot. So it'll look like it'll change, but it'll be like an editing trick. So I don't know how else, I guess I can take every single object, but the problem is that there's a million objects and stuff in here going on. These are groups, so it's like there's even more. These inside of groups, and this is a group, this is a group, this is a group. Might just need like this kind of stuff, or I could just find out what I need, and then I didn't want to like animate it because I didn't want to put it in the same. I wouldn't know how to put it in the same position then, so I could, I guess. I don't know. Getting better at editing, so maybe I can do it that way. But either way, I'll figure it out. See ya. See you, buddy. Thanks for talking with me. Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good day. Let's see what else I want to do. Let's first bubble blur. Don't save. What else do I want to show? Let's show this. I'll render the textures. Get rid of this. I'm not sure what that is. Boop. Okay. New scenery. So this is a new set. Just wanted to get a orbital thing there. I try to get both of these out of here. This is a big mess hall. It's a pretty big mess as well. But this will be another room in the castle. So again, I over-engineer everything, and I'm like, oh, you know, probably don't need a 360 set of this, but might as well. I knew with the gel I only needed like 180, you know, field of view. So I was like, I don't need a fourth wall. I made a fourth wall, and then I deleted it. So I was like, yeah, I might need this in a couple different angles. Might as well with some of this, that a lot of action happens in here. Not everything's textured yet. A lot of things that are just pure color, like these stools and stuff, are not textured yet. A lot of stuff I stole from other shots, sort of chapter 6. A lot of this stuff, thankfully, because it's in the same area, same scenery, I can reuse a lot of motifs. It's probably better if I keep reusing motifs anyway, so it'll seem like it's the same sort of set. I wonder, did I actually show the sketches? Because I showed that one. Let's see. Here's another picture of the concept art for the jail. So now I can see like my original drawings here to see like, oh yeah, this is my, wanted it from like a perspective of like what the store would look like, and then I did a top view of that jail, and then some pictures of the walls to get some ideas. Here's a lockpick, and trying to get some different ideas of how the lock could open. Maybe it could be like a kind of weird puzzle piece, kind of jigsaw thing. How it's like on there. How would a padlock actually lock? This will be a fun little adventure slide. Again, I didn't want to have it be stairs, so what would a staircase inside of a tower look like? So it'll just be like a little big big slide slope. And here's that mess hole. And now we got one of the storyboards to try and get some semblance of what I wanted. A side view of that same area here. So, bit of a glow up. But just enough to be like, get my ideas on paper, or so to speak, you know, try to make it so I can rationalize this and be like, okay, I have a table in the middle, and then chandeliers, and then some windows or something, and then figure it out, and then be like, oh, okay, and then go from there. And top down, and then the hallway on the left side here. Obviously, this is super, you know, it's the best I can do. But yeah, try to get a top view of like what I wanted. Figuring out not only what looks good aesthetically, but also to serve the story in some way as well. Make sure that everything can work with all the storyboards that I've made, you know, in space. Can it still work? And then I had to edit some stuff. Remember with the cafe, I had to like change some stuff, or I wanted to like add. I wanted to make sure that the cafe actually worked as a cafe and be like, okay, where's the kitchen, and then where's like other stuff. Make sure that all of it actually work. My idea was actually have all the rooms in the castle could realistically fit inside of the castle space. You know, I didn't want to have like, oh, that room seems too big. How can it fit inside of the castles that we saw earlier? It's like, I tried. I think some of them might be a little too large. This will be a hallway, and a top view of the hallway, and then nice little spinning around kind of room. Maybe some circly stuff. Yeah. What did I want to show? I don't know. Here's some more 3D textures of the different pieces here. So now you can understand, like, I'm trying to get some general, because it has to work on every single angle of it. So I try to make some different versions of it, going from gradients from like a light wood to medium to dark, and then the metal light to dark as well. The broom. This is the jail window apparently. Oh yeah, I just can't even see it, but like this is the other different, to get the skylights, or like the shimmering lights in the jail as well. Here's the dining hall to get some new ones. I didn't need too many of these. These are for some of the flowers. And for the hallway, to get some kind of palettes, I guess, and then I can like put each polygon, assign it to that color. That's a little easier than trying to use a color ramp or something to get that color. It's like, I might as well just get a nice gradient and then say, here, polygon, be this color, kind of thing. But yeah, we used a bunch of stuff. I could go back in and like change some stuff. Like I think I reused the same throne model and changed it into a throne. Just a big chair. I like the chair so much I just did it again. Reused it. The flowers on the table are fun. Some of them are 2D and some of them are not. Some of them I overboard it. There's that picture of that pink flower. So it is in 3D for no reason. Because I usually do things in 2D, even if it's gonna be, you know, only seen as a prop. Like this one. This one's 2D, but it's in a 3D vase. So in each shot, I can like kind of go through and, you know, rotate it or whatever, make sure that it'll work. Actually, this might have a. Do you have something? Yeah, you do. Okay, you have a locked track, which means that if I rotate the camera, it'll always follow. I did this in a city too, where I would have things that would be 2D. I had like the trees in the city be 2D objects, and then I would have this locked track. So there's actually like a relationship between the camera and this object. And so wherever the camera is looking, it's billboarding. where no matter what angle the camera's at, it'll look the same directional angle rotation no matter what. So obviously the pink flowers that are right here, don't need that because they're a 3D model, but for the 2D stuff I needed a little easier way to set this up in a way so that I can do like 20 shots and then not worry about, oh, was this one plot, you know? Is this one plant, you know, not looking the right way? I can set this up in a base reference, base reference file, save this as shot 20, and then be good to go. You know, I can set up the camera and be like, okay, camera here, and then the plant will be directly at the right angle. Then shot 21 and be like, oh, I have to do a 180 rule, which you shouldn't do, but if I wanted to, or if a 90-degree angle, then the plant will always look straight on to the camera. So but yeah, I've done that a bunch. I think even I think I tried to show that this also does it. I even did it with the whole the whole stand also does it. So just in case, you know, it's like, well, it looks pretty good from that angle, so let's lock it. I think usually I would just do only the little flame at the top here, this little bubble, because that's a 2D image. And so whatever angle, it'll always look good. So I can make sure that if I do 100 shots, I don't have to be like, okay, did I do that one? Did I do that one? To make sure that they rotate and look good. You know, set dress it every single time, or I can just set it up to be lock camera done, you know. Yeah. I think these do the same thing too, where they the little bubble and shine thing. Yeah. Let's see. What should we do? Let's move on to, should we actually animate a shot real quick? This might not have, I was actually like, well, I don't have enough time to talk and, you know, actually animate. Let's see. Let's find this shot and then I can go from there. So let me, gotta keep doing a little blurring, until I get there. Okay, 16. I'll go inside there. Okay. So the storyboard is that, okay. I wanted it to be the other one. Hang on. I want it to be where she opens the door. So is it 14? A little earlier? That's better. Where instead she appears out of the door. Might not have enough time, but I could probably like rough it out a little bit. I probably get like the 2D and then export it and then put it into 3D. I'm sure you understand like how all that works then, right? Because I was gonna have this going on the whole time. I was gonna have this as my main thing I was gonna do for the stream, but maybe not. I don't know. First we duplicate our reference puppet here. Instead of this, we same as this code here, so I keep everything intact. So now this is 714. Let's put that there. So I need to figure out if this is a good timing, so maybe I want to make it a little longer. Maybe a little shorter. I just want to figure out what or not I want to do. A good amount of timing. This is where it takes forever because it's like, well, you start pushing frames. I want to copy layer. Go into here. Go inside the character. Paste my layer. So now I have my sync. So I don't need 100 frames. Add one more there. Then she disappears. Make this thing a little shorter. Okay. For every instance that I want to change, I have to change basically the Not there yet. I have to duplicate the head, so it'll be a different head from every other animation. Let's see. Could add some keyframes, and then copy this. Oopsie. Well, now we're lost. Ah, copy. Paste. Delete that. Okay, so now I have my keyframes that I want for that. So now I can get in here and start playing. So maybe I want really lean into this lean going on here. So I might not need a couple other extra bits so I can start to delete things that don't make sense. Might need that arm. But at least I can get rid of a couple of these other objects that don't need to be needed. This is why it's important to have a good timing first. I can have the head longer exposed because it's going to be ended by the body. So now I need to know what my storyboards are. This basically just kind of goes up. I can animate that inside of Blender, so the animation that I need inside of Derpy is inside of here, and then I can say single frame 17, single frame 17, start, single frame, close mouth. I want to drag her entire eyeball, so that's gonna be a little tricky. Oh boy. Want to like rotate a couple of these. Clips here. Try and create some perspective. So might have to, fortunately, might have to delete these just because I want to move the position of the eyes, which in Toon Boom and whatever's I'll be able to just add a peg and be able to move that over, but be able to add a peg and then have a parent be with the children of both eyes, but I can't do that, so I'll have to mouth do it this way. So I might have to just animate it and then pretend that I have the internal animations, or I can do a duplicate of the eyelids and then have that set to be. I'd have to have like two of them, two eyelids going through. So we're gonna have her kind of be up here and then kind of up here. I think I want to do it from this point here. I have to do like everything. Or then at this point, I want her to look up. This may or may not work. Not school. Turn off school. So I'm just gonna move her head, and then can't change the pivot point, because that is practically locked when you do tween animation. You can see sort of where I'm going with this. Hopefully this works. If it doesn't, we'll have to keyframe it individually. So we'll do a classic ease out. Let's see. Let's give me that. Okay. And then never like it to just like stop after a keyframe. So I think what I want to do is kind of take the entire thing and just kind of shift it back a little bit as well. This probably needs to rotate. And then we'll add another keyframe right after. And then we'll push this middle one further. So I will kind of exaggerate what I did in between here. So I will take basically everything here and just kind of push it up just a little bit. And then between that, so then you get this kind of poof, this kind of little bobby. Oh, pooful there. But it's just enough to be like whoa, the little action. And then you kind of play with the ears. If I want to, I can add a little bit more drag to the ears by adding a frame there. Maybe the hair as well. Could be a little slower. Sometimes it's good to do it at separate frames there, so you get a little bit more action into it. Or maybe see how just by doing a little bit of that, you just pushed it by like one frame and it completely changes the entire kind of feeling of it. And I can also do one more keyframe if it's kind of wiggling a little much more, of it kind of dragging. I can see what it's saying as it. So down, up, middle. So for here, I want it to drag a little bit, and then on this one, go up a little bit, and then it goes back down. And if that doesn't seem good, I can make this a little faster. And then maybe the hat needs to have that as well. Hat needs to have... Where's hat? Where is that? That's this one. Move this in. So we're leaning in, and then we're leaning back out. So she kind of disappears at the end, so there we go. Okay. So at the start, eyes are closed. Close. Close. And then the fun part is that it's going to change back to open, but I didn't want it to be. So I gotta select eyelashes again, change the right frame, and then they open. I want it to be about this frame, so I have to add a new keyframe into the eyelashes. And then have them slightly start to open in one of these frames. Noticing now that the sequence might be a little short the way that I animated it. As she's short. Unless she starts frame early. Yep. Bring back to 1. Might need 2 more frames just to so You can see it. So now we're gonna go to 38. And then make sure that this just goes on for enough time between all of these. Okay. This may or may not work. Might be a little short. I mean, it's less than 2 seconds. So, if I wanted to, I probably could like go through and make sure that it's gonna be a pretty quick shot anyway between all of this, but I might need to figure out what the timing of the door is and then go back through and reanimate this, or at least retime it. I don't have to reanimate it, but maybe I just like time it so it actually would, this would all flow better. So, okay. So we will go into here now, and so it'll be this door that'll open, but I don't want this file, so I'll have to save this. You know what that means? Okay. Save as, and we'll do 714. So now we have a new file. Okay. So now I can set up the camera to be where I want to look at this door. Let's move somewhere around there. And then I want Derpy, so I can kind of either take this version of her and change her into the character, or make a new one. So I do need her to be the different front angle, but at least I'll get the same size I need. I need to make her a little larger. Well, she's a tiny horse. Let's do that. Okay, so I can kind of play with this and then see what I want to do. Okay, so see his face. She's corporeal or something. So we're gonna need around 40 frames. So we'll have this end at 40 frames. So we have not much to work with, less than 2 seconds. And then we'll see, because I need the door to open. A little less jarring than that, just a jar. What you need is to be like, whoop, to kind of open the door, and then have her sneak in, kind of like peer in, be like, huh? So we will add some keyframes to the door. Let's do auto on, and now I want rotate Z. Yes. So I'll add a keyframe there, just so I have something to work with now. And then this is where a lot of experimentation kind of comes in. Where I'm like, well, how many frames do I want it? I can get the frames I need. Yeah, I need way more frames of the door opening. Kind of sliding open. Since maybe like be 3 seconds, then usually like to have maybe like half second before anything happens. Kind of feels pretty good. Odds if you like start like immediately with the door opening, you know, frame 2, be like, whoa, like you don't even have time to like process, you know, am I even looking at a door? Like what even am I looking at? Kind of thing. And then maybe another half second there. And then I got my tweens here. So I want it to be kind of slow and then kind of ramp up, and then also be kind of slow. So we get a I feel like it's still moving. That's weird. like afterward. Looks like it's not, but maybe it is. I don't know. Something like that. I mean, it kind of goes a lot of back and forth now of like, well, I mean, you know, I'll put her into final position. So that would mean that she's kind of, she needs to be here, but then also need to flip her, obviously. Z rotate -90. So then she kind of more moving forward. Something like that. So after the door kind of opens, she'll start at a position. I probably want to get the right character though. But now I know that the door opens pretty slowly, so probably want to make this even like 50 frames or something. Welcome back, Judd. I'm animating a shot real quick. So I need to make this a little different. So this is where like, what did I do? So the door doesn't even open until... Welcome, Matthew. It's good to see you. Finally working on a movie again. So it doesn't even open until 24. So we'll make that our new kind of sequence here. And then let's have her not even show up until like 20. Let's go 30 to be close to there. And then about there. So this might be around 60 frames then. Let's go for that. A lot of back and forth now of being like, well, okay. So now I gotta go through so much. I have to go through the entire body layer here. Retime this to be more frames here. And then go inside the head to get the new timing. Ah. Keep doing that. Copy. Paste. That's just a skill issue on my end. So now we know that she won't even appear until there. We know that this is this frame. And then we'll add that all in. So now we know that there's not even anything happening until all of this. I might even make it a little later. And so then that's when she looks up. That's G4, I know. Gotta hold strong onto it. Tell Your Tale. Honestly, I haven't watched much, but what I've seen is decent. It's definitely less ADHD like Pony Life was. Well, it wasn't that bad, but it's like, oh, like what's going on here? I think it's pretty cute. I think the first couple episodes I saw were pretty good. I wouldn't say they're like, whoa, I gotta recommend it to everyone, you know. It wasn't like, whoa, we gotta start a revolution about this, you know, this is my new thing. It's kinda alright. I just never really watched more than a couple episodes. But I want the other leg. And let's go into my editor. Let's see. Legs can't get over it. Finger legs. Oh, that the legs are, yeah. The Tell Your Tale puppets are... They got their own design, which is so weird. The part where it zips as a wink is pretty cool. Well, okay then. If that's what we're going off on, like, oh, characters are winking now. Man, you gotta watch this episode. Zip does a wink. I'm sure it's cool in context, but it's like, oh, you know, it just sounds not that cool. You know, it'll be like, oh, the guy John Delancey has his crazy, Discord crazy man, and oh, he's really cool. He's just like Q in Star Trek. Whoa, you gotta watch this episode. You know, that's a little more what people would expect or something to be as a cool thing. Wow. Discord appeared in the comics, right? In the, at least the G4 comics. I don't know about the G5. There's so much content that's like I never really cared, honestly. Gotta add a little bit of a body movement as well. So I'm doing the same thing where get the 3 keyframes. This may not work, but I might need to make a whole body move over, so I might have to edit keyframes, take off the head. I need to do something more like this. Get everything neck related. Arm related. Made Spike skinny. Oh, Spike's back? Okay. Cool. I'm sure he's just a well-developed character as always. Okay. Hey, Mike. That's okay. I don't really care. I've seen so much other spoilers that I'm fine. Something around Opaline or something. I'm going to export this as PNG sequence. I'm going to, where would it be? Who knows? This might take a while. Not really that one. I haven't done this in a while, so I'll... do I know where I put everything? My files? Huh. This might take a while until I find out where I put everything. Uh-oh. How you guys doing? Some of the other cities. I mean, there's so many. Yeah. It seems like it's been a while, but also like not that long between 4 and 5. Enough to be like the main 6 are like legends, but it's also like everyone sort of like eventually would kind of know who they are. So it's kind of like, oh, well, okay. That's my exports. Didn't think of making sure that I knew how to do this first. Ooh. Should have like a derpy movie stuffs, right? I can put it in here and then I can find it later. Character file photos. I'll just put it here. Just keep it going. 714 derpy. So I made a new folder. PG sequence. I'm gonna save it. It's giving me a box whether or not I want to export it at a certain size. I usually do a height of 1000 pixels. Good resolution. Color is 32 bits. Move. Okay. Export. Now it's gonna be a loading bar of exporting it. I'm gonna look to see where I put that. And see if everything's in here. Yep. Okay, so I got a sequence in there. Okay. We can look for the 2 seconds as I change the UV mapping here. So here's Derpy. Oh wow. And now we're gonna change her to be a different. As the last thing I UV edited apparently. And let's go shading actually. And we'll change her to be a different picture. So that's where I gotta change this now. So now I'm gonna change the picture into my. Now I gotta find this. Oh, actually, this gives me a lot of recent stuff. Oh, apparently I used that folder. Interesting. That's where I would have put it. Okay, well now I gotta find this now. Okay. Let's see. I'm just gonna test to see if it animates. Hey, cool, it doesn't. Let's try that again. So you gotta do every. Gotta select every frame inside of here. Interesting. Not quite animating yet, so let's see. Oh, image sequence is out of here. Nope. Cyclic auto refresh. Uh-oh. Might have to. I found a frame, but I think it's just not animated it for some reason. Question mark? Huh. That's it. That's it. Huh. Should be there. That's that. It's using the right thing. Auto clip doesn't matter. Huh. Yeah, because what I see is just my Derpy. Just in a void. But, it seems she's not moving. So I got start frame, offset. It's using that. It's really using 5 for whatever reason. I've always had trouble with like this PNG sequence never always working, so I don't know. Might have to try again, but at least I got this one picture, so at least I can sort of get a feel for what I need. So what's this doing here? I can animate that and just pretend that it works until I can figure this out. Let's get need positions and maybe rotation after that, but at least for now not. So at least for now, first frame there. Last frame I want her to be here. So on first frame I want her to be gone. And then we set that to constant. But excuse me. Let's see. How do we place? Looks like it's in a Y or X. I'll move that there. Couldn't do it in the viewport. That was weird. Anyway, then she should pop right there. Okay. So door open, and then what did we set for the timing? So we said around 30 is when she'll actually appear. So again, we do the same trick where we want her to end here. I've always had trouble where I had to like re-click the keyframes here. I want it to be here at the end. Obviously this isn't helping where I can't see the animation. My PNG sequence does have the pictures. They're all individual. So I think it exported right, but I think just Blender isn't taking the PNG sequence working. So let's do around 42. Blender. Let's do 40. and then say this will be my bips here, and then on 30 I'll take her out of the equation, and then let's see if this, oh well, I want you to be a linear. Oh, how about you be linear? Oh, now we got action. Okay, we're good. Get in there. So hopefully that doesn't quite get the same feeling, but now we got her to kind of get there. Maybe I can re-import or re-export maybe? I'm not sure. I'll try again and see what happens here. Yeah, I mean I got all the frames. Let's see, she doesn't move until frame 37. I mean that's kind of that, so I'm gonna go back to shading. I think, well, I know Blender changed a bunch of the shading stuff. It changed the BSDF to be a little different. So I'm wondering maybe if, I mean it took me, I couldn't get the, what if I can do another frame and see if it works? Okay, so I did another frame, and so that works. So it's the animation of it, it's not working. So this is good to know before I, you know, keep dawdling on and trying to figure this out. Oh, got it. I don't know, it's like I re-imported it in, and then now it works. Who knows why? Do you? Pff, tell me. Here we are. It didn't like something. I don't think I changed anything out of it, though. That was really weird. Okay, so I'm seeing that she needs to be more visible. So around there then. Or, huh. No, she's not moving. Give me Y positions between here and here. Ah. So this graph editor, I can see something ain't right. There we go. Turn that into a linear. And I might want to make this a little faster. And let's make it a Bezier to be a little slow and then fast and then a little slow out. Okay, so I may want to make what I want to do. I want to make I want to see her here a lot longer. So I need to add the animation to be faster here. So I move this to here. That's the animation of her. So I'm on 28 and I'm on 36. If I move this even faster, and then just make sure that it's pretty slow. A little slower. This is where it's like, well, how about this frame? Nah, how about this frame? Right, you know. How about this key? How about this one? Okay. Hopefully that's... Deselect everything and see what that looks like. Oh, is it okay over here? Oh. Let's move the camera a little bit in, maybe. Maybe a little lower, maybe a little looking up, a little more zoomed in. That's a little zoomed. Okay. So I can remove this over. And oops. Take this out. Let me see your chat. I can't see it. Oh, actually cute. Oh, good. And what you can do is also like add extra layers. I can have like her hoof kind of go over on top of the door or something. You know, do some more little work here. Maybe at the end, maybe make it a little bit shorter. Like you probably only need like 56 before it needs to go. And then before you just cut to the next shot kind of thing. Or you can add like much more details and everything else. Let's see. If we upload the quality, my plan is to release everything and then each chapter, and then I like to redo my in a director's cut. I like to redo everything, go back to chapter 1 and then make it look like chapter 8, whichever way I'm gonna be. So I was planning on redoing the animation there and like doing 3D sets. Might not change the animation itself too much with the characters unless I see something. I'll probably try and keep that mostly intact, but like change out the backgrounds to be 3D, because I changed to full 3D backgrounds in chapter 3. Chapter 1 had like no 3D backgrounds. 2 had like 3 or so shots, but like some of them were like stealth 3D, where they weren't actually, they were like Resident Evil, you know, like pre-rendered backgrounds that then I traced over, because I wasn't sure how to do like the world lighting to look good. So, and then 3 had the full 3D set, and then I think about that point is about where everything kind of started to look good, quality wise. 4 was pretty better than that, and then 5 is alright. And then 6 is where I've definitely kicked it up a lot, kicked it up a notch a lot, to make everything look real nice. Now 7, I'm just kind of playing off what I did in chapter 6, and kind of just making everything, you know, 10% better in every way. Like I did the flowers and stuff like that in 3D, you know, and everything else I kind of showed today. I'm like putting it all together, you know, of what I learned. So, but yeah, take that for doing this in like, what was like only like an hour or something. With some weird hiccups and not knowing everything. So, yeah. Notice it's only like 56 frames out of like, I think the animation is going to be like around 2.5 to 3 minutes. So, we'll see. It'll be out when it's out. I did have like a deadline that I wanted to get this done, and thinking about where I am right now, I'm thinking that I might not be exactly feasible. Exactly. That's a good idea. So I'm thinking to extend it. I didn't say like what day I wanted it to be out, I think. So it's getting internally delayed a little bit, so hopefully it won't be mindful for you. But yeah, out when it's out of, you can see like there's so much detail, like a lot of prep work, but a lot of the prep work was already made by me a couple years ago, so now it's just kind of like going through it and just, you know, grinding through like every shot and like animating it like this. This is one of the simpler shots, so I was like, I could probably show this off, so glad I was able to show this in a almost flawless way, so but this kind of shows everything that I wanted to, how I would kind of go through the entire sequence of storyboard to animation to 3D. Yeah. Hello. Is that what it said? I wasn't looking. Anyway, I think my stomach's grumbling, so I might be messing it up. Either way, Derp is hopefully coming soon. Look at that. And what will be the mystery person at the head of the table? That's the queen. But who knows what will happen? How's Derpy gonna save the day? Tune in when this actually hopefully gets done at some point. So I could do it from here too. That's just on a keyframe. It's not tied to the camera or anything. It's pretty neat, huh? Anyway, I don't have any juice, so I'm just gonna keep scratching my throat the whole time here. Okay, let's go to toaster time. Ba-do-ba-do-ba-do. I'm gonna close some of my stuff so my GPU's not exploding further. I think that's good. Okay. But I wasn't. How you guys doing? I know it's been a bit since the last chapter. Oh, I can check out what that date was. Let's go internet. That image was my desktop background. I think I was trying to close something and like in Windows it like wanted to show my desktop. Gonna search Yoshi Greenwater on YouTube and see. Oh look, I'm live. Whoa. I might do another the story so far, or at least make sure that you guys watch it again. There's a video I did a couple years ago of pretty much re-showing what the story so far of chapters 1 through 5, and then saying, "Oh, are you guys ready for chapter 6?" And it's like, there's like 8 chapters, so I'm not even done. If I even finish this chapter 7, I'm still not done. So it never ends, but it will eventually, hopefully. I'm thinking end of the year to get chapter 8 done, and then that'll be the finale. So the finale will be chapter 8, and so we're working on chapter 7 right now. So I storyboarded the entire story start to finish way back when in 2017 or 18 or whatever. So I know that it does have an end, so it's just slowly me working on it. Chapter 6 says 2 years ago. Got an Oreo ad. March 2022. So it's that person who said how long ago since it? 3 years. Nope, it's only been 1.5 or something. I know. Yeah, it was just unfortunate of like how I wasn't able to. I was able to work on it like moderately for a little bit, but then it didn't quite work out with all the holidays. Wasn't able to work on it too well. Otherwise, I wanted to talk about yeah, that's when I closed my chat, I had to like reopen it, and then you see the Tears of the Kingdom link with some Koroks. It's an official image wallpaper. So find that out in Club Nintendo. Whoops, Nintendo. I went to a chamber lunch with a conversation with Nintendo's Doug Bowser, presented by Bellevue Collection, Bank, and Vulcan Real Estate. So on Thursday, a couple days ago, I went to a chamber lunch. Let's see. I was like, maybe they'll just record it or something. Like this probably won't be anything interesting, you know. This will just be either marketing or, you know, puffing himself up and saying like, we sold 1 billion Wii U's. No, we didn't. But wouldn't it be cool? This is a bar graph if we did. Check that out. something like that. We're just like, yeah, we've been doing things, buy it, please, you know. Or I thought it'd be like a keynote speech, like the GDC, where game developers would do like a panel, little talk where they'd be like, we made physics in Zelda and this is why it's so cool, kind of a thing. But this was actually really fun. This almost had like a party atmosphere. I mean, it was fun. I thought it'd just be like all people in suits and be like, yep, you're a cool guy. Way to go. But they had a party. I mean, it was. I almost want to say like it was lit, but it's like it actually was pretty cool. So yeah, we drove to the city and then we walked over to it. And then we kind of hung out in the lobby for a bit. And then got in, and then like they started blasting like actual Mario music, but it's like remixed. Kind of like those club like boom 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 like boom boom kind of music, and it was like all these different genres and stuff. It like had Mario. There was like Animal Crossing. A lot of Mario. Focus, but obviously it's Nintendo, so it's like, and you're talking to, you know, I don't even know what kind of people there are, but at least they're not, you know, game developers themselves, or like, you know, passive gamers, or, you know, all the stuffy collar people. All the business type people, salary people, I don't know. But yeah, so the whole talk was like, Mario is a plumber guy, you know, like try to like, okay, know the audience, you guys are gamers, let's see, but he did really well. So it was more of a Q&A. Because everyone was saying it was going to be like a big speech he's going to do, and it's like, okay. It just kind of turned into like an interview where an MC would talk and like give Doug some questions. Yeah, they call it a keynote. I have a brochure. That's what this is. Moderated. Don't want to say their name. In closing, and then yeah. But they did something. I mean, this brochure has Kirby on it, Mario, and a Koopa Troopa. So yeah, you sit there and it's like, it was a dinner, lunch. I wanted it to be dinner. But it was noon. I was hungry, and it's like, oh, he gave us nice salad and some bread and iced tea. Wow, just as they're blasting out like remix like dubstep Animal Crossing music. Just waiting. Got the interaction. Doug came up there, and then the moderator came up as well. And I was like, okay, you know, I was in a pretty good spot, pretty far away, off to the side, like way on the right side. And I was like, okay, I can see, you know, before I was like, okay, I can see the podium, and the presenter speaker was like, oh, okay, I can see them. And then Doug and the moderator came up, and then they sat in chairs, and it was like, oh, wait, yeah. It's like kind of get over and be like, kind of like look up to be like, even see their faces, because like, oh, they're sitting down. You know, I couldn't see them from my angle. So it's like, cool, all right. I mean, I can kind of look around and be like, ah, there he is. It's not the best viewing spot, but obviously we were next to the speaker, so I was like, okay, I can hear him. But yeah, it was a lot of very specific, like Nintendo questions, like, okay, well, how's the company doing? You know, a lot of like, so I hear you got things more than video games, huh? And like, oh yeah, we got the theme park, we got the movie, we got the expansion to the theme park, we got new movies that we're announcing, that were already announced. We're not going to announce anything new. That was a big thing. It was like, he said, like, yeah, if you're looking to hear anything about future console stuff, sorry, no. A lot of it was just kind of joking around and a lot of fun, good answers and stuff. So not too much like life skill stuff, or like if there was like one, if you want to be a game developer, what do you gotta do? They say like, oh, you don't really need programming, and just kind of be an artist or something. Yeah, that's cool enough. I was like, oh, okay. When I made my game, I had no programming stuff, so I couldn't really make my game as thorough as I wanted. So, you do need both. I think you need left and right brain, objectively kind of stuff of like be able to draw and then also be like looking at numbers and be like, 7, yeah, is that the right value I need? So it's hard to be well-rounded in that case. So I do kind of struggle with like those kind of exact math stuff, or like I kind of use the number fields and like use those as calculators instead of actually figuring it out. Because every number field you can just put in like plus or minus into a text field and they can calculate for you. So didn't know that, did you? But yeah, it was really fun. They had a DJ and they like blasted out Nintendo sound effects. If it was like a good question, they'd be like doo 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 doo, like little synth sounds and all this sort of stuff. So they really like were talking about the movie a lot for a lot of questions, and the moderators had some kids and they were like, yeah, we had to watch this movie a lot, so yeah. It's like, yeah, they just like reiterated that it's like, yeah, we'll have Mario movie 2, we'll have the Zelda movie, we'll have the Donkey Kong attraction, buy other games, please. They didn't really say anything like, hey, you know that Paper Mario game that's coming out next week? Go buy that. They didn't say that, so it's like, okay. We talked more about like how it's been. The last time that they talked was like February 2020, so it's like, oh. So I haven't really had a in-person meeting with him for 4 years or so. So that's it's like his first time back in 4 years. So that was nice. But yeah, I just kind of realized as like Doug himself hasn't really either super humble about it or he just hasn't. Excuse me. He hasn't done that much. Yeah, because everything he said, like, yeah, Nintendo Wii and stuff, and we've done this, we've done that. Miyamoto went to the theme park and sat in every cart and, made sure that, like, every single sit would have the right experience and stuff, make sure that every color's right, stuff like that. And, Miyamoto did the movie and stuff, now he's working on the Zelda movie, And so it's like, okay, cool. Hey, Doug, you're here. What have you personally been doing? What have you been up to? And it's kind of, it never really came up or never really became like an answer to like actually say anything. So I was like, huh. So I don't even know, yeah, if what he's been up to really. It's kind of weird. You bring this guy on, he's like, yeah, what have you been doing? He's like, oh, the Japanese company's been doing stuff and, CEO and stuff and, other stuff. And it's like, oh, okay. Can you announce anything new? No. So, but yeah. About a half hour in, we got lunch. Because that was like the appetizer with the salad. So it's like, oh, okay. Now we got like big chicken with some carrots and peas. Got a cake, like a nice red velvet cake, and yeah, that was good. I ate the whole chicken. That was good. And so it got a little noisy there because we had like glass plates and the silverware was also silver. So like, you try to listen to the Doug there, and all you hear is the of all the silverware like hitting the plates and stuff. I was like, man, like shush. But yeah, honestly, I can't remember too many of the answers he gave because a lot of it was just kind of not really rambling on, but just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. It was just kind of like either self-explanatory to me, of like I already know it, or like yeah, you're not really saying anything new to be like, for me to like be active listening to be like, oh, okay, but they made it like so intense with like everything else, like everything. They had like big screens, like super like portrait tall, like 10 feet tall screens, like two of them on each side, and they would play like loops of Nintendo games, mostly Mario. One on the left had like all these videos of different Mario games, like Mario Land, New Super, all the platform ones. And then the right screen just had like clouds, like any NES Mario Bros. One. Thinking about it, maybe there was a Mario at the bottom. I don't think I saw that, but yeah. And then on projectors, it was in a big ballroom, big room. It had like a lot of people, maybe like 100 people. So it was pretty packed. Little tables. But on these projectors, they had this interactive quiz, and it was all Nintendo stuff. Like, what was Kirby's original name? What's Rosalina's Final Smash name? Multiple choice, or who's your favorite Nintendo character, or a lot of other stuff. So yeah, it was definitely very, very deep. It felt like a professional like birthday party, where it's like, whoa, okay, you know, like anything you would want, like that was Nintendo would be like, this is how you want to have a party. So it was really cool. I'm glad I went there. It's a nice little break and everything, and obviously it was really cool. Yeah. I hope that other, I haven't been to other business meetings like this, like these other chamber lunches or anything, so to know like whether or not they're as themed or impressive as this, but this definitely went all out. I mean, they they did a lot. I mean, this was really cool. Yeah, so I just can't remember much about it though. What it mostly said. Yeah. That's pretty much all I remember is actually what I said, so I don't know much more. Unless I get triggered by something. But, yeah. Okay. So, I had fun. I got to eat food, which is really fun. I like eating food. So that was a double bonus. Okay. Speaking of, I should probably have lunch. So, I have not had lunch yet, so I am ready to sign off now. Let's see. So, I will continue working, well, I guess, I'll continue working with the movie. Hopefully soon, coming soon, asterisk, when it's out, when it's complete. I love food. Food's important. If you haven't had a food, go have a food. Go have a lunch. Go have a dinner. Whatever you got. Let's see. It's going somewhere with that. Anyway, so tomorrow will be Princess Peach Showtime with my mom. And then next Saturday we'll start Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake on Switch. So look out for that. And the movie, when it's complete, will be uploaded. So I don't know. Would you guys want a story so far, or should I just kind of link it again and say like, you guys should go watch the? Well, I guess if you see a part 7 in the title, would you be more likely to be like, oh, maybe I should start from chapter 1 first, or would you be like, oh, look at chapter 7? I don't remember what happened, but I guess maybe I'll just join. Because I'm not gonna do like the previously on. Because I want it to be the cold open with Derpy in the jail cell, like immediately, which it kind of fades up from there. So I know it's been a while, so I'm trying to figure out like how I should figure that out as well. So, but obviously I need to finish the thing video first. And then we'll think about that. So, either way, yeah, still a lot of stuff to do. A lot of stuff is gonna be due at work later this month, at the end of the month, and got a commission that's like 20 characters for pony characters, and then I got the movie, and now I got Midnight Mirrors that wants me to finalize some stuff. Apparently, Chris wanted to get a video done by the end of the week, but the animator is having a little trouble, so he's like, yeah, how about Yoshi, you work on it, please. And it's like, please, I don't have time. I'm so bloated. So, yeah. Wish me luck on all that. So, either way, thank you again. Talk to you tomorrow, I guess, with Princess Peach Showtime video game with my mom game stream. If it's canceled, then I'll let you know in some form or another. So, thank you again, guys. All right, sign out now. Thank you, guys, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Yay. I'm gonna find a button. Where is it? It's right here somewhere. Hang on. See you guys. Thank you.